Like when we had the raids in New York, when I used to have to go to make sure that ICE wasn't beating the crap out of people, it wasn't in white neighborhoods. So you mean to tell me white people aren't here illegally?
America has a problem with black immigrants? Are you or brown immigrants? What are you saying? I want to get this straight from you.
Well, I don't.
Are you including Mexicans?
Yeah.
I never understood why people try to allude to everything being racist.
So let's talk about black authors who I read. Like, I'm a huge fan of James Baldwin. Like, just because I don't read what you think, you can clap. You can clap.
Okay, now he's talking about what books he reads. This has nothing to do with illegal immigration at all.
But as a Christian, I feel compassion for those people. The imagery, when it first hit, looked terrible, right? Now, even looking at this, it does evoke. Like, I would love for you all to look up a study by the American Psychology Association about racial trauma, right? Because it's really a thing, and it has a similar effect as PTSD. Any soldiers out there, you might know what I'm talking about. But with that PTSD, looking at this, it makes me think about slavery. Now, they came out with and I'm gonna finish quick, with respect. The story about the whips, I was like, wow, this is effing horrible, right? But I see people in a really destitute, 15,000 people who are starving, who are just seeking a better opportunity. And I see them being exploited by the media, by this administration. Listen, when the Mexicans were at the border and Trump was in office, all of these same Democrats, AOC, Pelosi, Schumer, they all ran to the border, right? Trump is the worst person in the world. But I was the one standing up in the dark, the lone voice, saying Obama's immigration policies were atrocious. Trump's doing the same thing. Now Biden's doing it all over again. And flip-flopping Kamala 2 months ago said, I can't do anything about immigration. It's out of my hands. It's too much to handle. The fact of the matter is, Democrats nor Republicans have figured out immigration, period.
I would say, yeah, well, we didn't have this going on when Trump was president, though, obviously. The numbers that are coming in right now are like nothing we've ever seen before. And I think a wall.
Yeah, I would say I don't know much about immigration. This is not my field of study. However, I would say within the past few years, the amount of illegal immigration has skyrocketed. This is not me saying a specific person did it. I know people like to clip videos and say, oh, you said no. This is just me saying that within the past few years, illegal immigration has skyrocketed. You can look that up. It has blown through the roof. Why? That's up to you to decide. But let's continue.
All would work, but also maybe not because they're taking flights. Yeah, why do you think they're coming now?
What? Those Haitians weren't.
Yeah,
there were thousands coming to the border when Trump was president. But like, people come to America.
We did not have a surge.
People come to America. Most of the people here
Let's be realistic. We did not have a surge of Haitians showing up at our border when Trump was president. So I'm just asking a question. Why do you think they're coming now?
You know what? The world is in a destitute place. We were ravaged by COVID, whether you believe in COVID or not. The economy was shut down. There's been a lot of problems. Like, America has a problem with black migrants.
Okay, he's not necessarily answering the question. She asked him why has illegal immigration skyrocketed specifically within the Haitian community. And rather than him even alluding to anything politically based, he went on this rant saying, well, the world is in a savage place because of so-and-so. Mind you, it's 2024. This video was released 2023. Mind you, or maybe 2022. I don't know. He's not alluding to any presidential shift or any political shift in the slightest. He's actually doing the opposite. He's rambling about black people. The world has something against black people. The world is in a weird spot. So-and-so. I don't know. I do hope that he answers this question with a little more fairness and say maybe it's the political landscape, maybe something, but he's not.
With migrants of color, when they were rounding people up, I didn't see one Russian person in handcuffs. Like when we had the raids in New York, when I used to have to go to make sure that ICE wasn't beating the crap out of people, it wasn't in white neighborhoods. So you mean to tell me white people aren't here illegally?
America has a problem with black immigrants. Are you or brown immigrants? What are you saying? I want to get this straight from you.
Well, I don't.
Are you including Mexicans?
Yes.
Do you know that they account for over 50% of all of our immigrants? So we have a problem with over 50% of all of our immigrants.
But what about the Asian immigrants?
Well, they can't run over the border, so they actually come in legally.
So
Asia's pretty far.
Wait. We've been here before.
Yeah.
We've been here before.
How many?
There are two borders. People sneak into this country of all walks of life. Stop making.
How many illegal Asian immigrants do you think we have in America?
Give people the truth.
I'm telling you the truth.
Everybody comes into the country, and Democrats and Republicans alike make these exploitative mockeries of immigration by just pointing to the ones who are of color, who are politically poignant.
So I never understood why people try to prove. I'm not going to say it that way. I never understood why people try to allude to everything being racism. And the reason I'm saying this is because right now they're talking specifically about illegal immigration. And he's painting it in a way implying that America has a problem only with black immigrants and anyone who's not white immigrants. And the reason he said that is because he was talking about Russian immigrants and how none of them are in handcuffs because he hasn't seen it. And also talking about Asian immigrants and saying none of them are in handcuffs and whatever. But my thing is, if we're talking about illegal immigration, how could you paint this in a racist way? How could you try to use racism to prove illegal immigration? Why not just say what the actual issue is? I'm honestly confused because if illegal immigration is happening for a real reason, you saying it's racism, not only is it factually wrong, it's kind of weird. It's just strange to even say. Now we're talking about is illegal immigration racism. Maybe it's just illegal. Maybe people crossing the border despite your color is just illegal. But now we're in a discussion arguing whether or not it's racist. No, it's illegal. We need to talk about how to stop illegal immigration. Not if it's racist. Like, this is confusing me, honestly. Man.
Listen, African immigrants come here illegally. No, this is just not true. Hulk, I can't just let you say something that just makes no sense, okay? African immigrants come here legally. Asian immigrants come here legally. They're separated by oceans, so yes, that's the reason why.
Come here illegally as well.
But not in the issue that we have right now. Not in a surge. Yes, there are some. Yes, there are some illegal African immigrants. There aren't 200,000 at the border trying to come in. Okay, that just is not what's happening. Be realistic. The illegal immigration problem is almost exclusively a problem that's happening at the south of the border.
You paint with these wide brushes and you deny people the truth.
You're not painting with any brushes.
Do me a favor, to everybody who's watching, stop listening to people on TV and read a effing book.
Okay,
I brought up Thomas Sowell. You told
Google.
Let me jump in.
I brought up 3 Thomas Sowell books.
Let me jump in.
Listen.
I brought up 3 Thomas Sowell books, and you shut those down too. So do you like? What do you want?
Okay, I think they're having a miscommunication. He's basically trying to gaslight people who agree with Candace Owens by saying you shouldn't listen to people on TV and go read a book. But my thing is, if you're talking about illegal immigration, what she's saying is primarily the majority of illegal immigrants are from the south border. That's what she's saying. You can't respond to that and tell her to have a wider scope. No, she's speaking over a vast scope. She's speaking broadly. She's not speaking about specific circumstances. So if you're speaking about a major issue, it makes more sense to speak broadly. Because if you're speaking about a major issue, it's not even possible to discuss every single circumstance. She's not saying they don't exist. She's not saying they don't happen. She's saying they primarily happen at this specific location and that we should focus on this big primary place if we want to solve this issue. It does not make sense for her to put a scope on minor or minuscule issues relative to the big one. But let's continue.
Let me interject.
Right? John Henry Clark.
Let me interject.
Let's talk about black authors who I read. Like, I'm a huge fan of James Baldwin. Like, just because I don't read thank you, you can clap. You can clap. It's all right.
Okay, now he's talking about what books he reads. This has nothing to do with illegal immigration at all, but let's continue.
The right to be a lone person in the majority. No, it's really okay. It's real, especially when people are trying to suppress your thoughts.
Nobody is suppressing your thoughts. I'm suppressing what is actually incorrect, and I'm correcting it, and you're getting upset. And when I correct it with an actual book, you say that book is not good enough. And then when I correct it with an actual fact, you say go read a book.
This is very simple. We have immigration laws. It's very simple. If you want to come through a port of entry. Nobody gets rejected at a port of entry. You go through a proceeding. Now, if you go under the fence, you go over the fence, you start getting caught out on the Rio Grande, yeah, you're going to get detained. It's very simple. It's very simple. We can work on some of our immigration laws, but we do allow more immigrants in our country than any other country in the world. Millions a year, legally.
And the overwhelming majority are immigrants of color. So I'm slapping down your lie that we're somehow
let's
racist in terms of the immigrants that we're accepting.
No, but you stop talking when she talks. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
You've been talking for like, you got a whole show going on. I'm just gonna say this.
It's like a breath of fresh air to some.
When we talk about racism and you talk about the bias against people of color, I mean, the Border Patrol agents are 60% Hispanic. So most of the Border Patrol are people of color in the first place. So I don't believe in the racism that you are portraying. When I look at what happens with AOC and them running to the border when Trump was in office because they were trying to draw attention to make Trump look bad. Now they don't want to go to the border because they don't want you to know what's happening. You're talking about 15,000 people. Not only have they came over here illegally, not only have they breached and pretty much invaded our country, they do not have satisfactory conditions that they're living in. We cannot offer them proper food. We cannot offer them proper housing. We cannot offer them safety. And the reason why they're coming here...
we can do that for Afghanistan.
Listen, the reason why they're coming here is because our administration is pretty much telling them it's an open border. You come here, you get in, you have amnesty. That is the reason why they're coming here and putting their lives on the line.
I'm with you, right? I'm with you. Like, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
I think that was like 40 seconds right there.
I really do want to listen to what he's saying because it confuses me a lot. But let's continue.
I did that in 40 seconds.
I'm going to do it real quick. I'm going to do it real quick.
No, he's not.
As a Christian.
No, he's not.
Probably won't, right? As a Christian.
Like a black pastor.
As a Christian, if people are fleeing political persecution, they're fleeing a country ravaged and devastated, I have a heart. I care about people. Now, if you want to talk about this country, the Democrats saying, hey, it's an open border, it's a lie, bro. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Let them saying. This is why I can't finish in 40 seconds.
No, I don't understand
Listen,
what you're saying.
You're saying they're encouraging them, saying them that it's open
What
borders.
I'm saying is a lie.
The problem is what politicians say to you and what they actually do is not a new concept. That's American as apple pie. So they're saying, yes, when Trump is in office, come, come, come. Now, they're in power. They're like, stop. I can't do anything for you. Like, I'm not here to argue politics. I just love people.
Yeah. I also want to say that to that point earlier that you said about PTSD, what did you say, post-black syndrome or something, which is akin to people in the military.
And here's my problem. If you're not here to argue politics and you follow that saying, I just love people, you're implying that the people who disagree with you don't also love people. Someone can love people and still disagree with you. I think it would be better if you came and you did talk about politics. Because if you did have that mindset, you would say, okay, these are the statistics, these are the facts, and by doing that, you can convince people who don't agree with you. You can even aid to people who do want to agree with you, who do look at you and say, I want to be on your side. There are biased people. Let's be honest. But when you're saying, oh, I just love people, it's hard for me, because I don't know a lot about immigration, but it's hard for me to hear what you're saying and say, okay, I follow you now. Let's go. Because you're kind of prefacing by saying, okay, I love people too. I'm going to follow you. That's a very idiotic way to think, and I'm not thinking like that. I love people, but that doesn't automatically mean I should be on your side because you also love people. And also, when you were referring to Afghanistan and, oh yeah, we can do this for Afghanistan, but we can't do this for the immigrants. I mean, we're talking about illegal immigrants here. We're not talking about immigrants who came legally, because mind you, there's two different sides. And as they were saying, because they came with statistics or at least numbers of some sort, they said we let in millions of legal immigrants per year. Why should we focus on the illegal immigrants? And you kind of follow that by saying, oh, we give people from Afghanistan free housing. Why don't we do that for illegal immigrants? Because it's illegal. This has nothing to do with love for people. This is just numbers. But anyways, I'm going to finish this video out and let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Racial trauma, and you said when you saw these whips, or, you know, same with slavery, which you said is akin to PTSD of people that were in the military. And you said it's a similar thing that you experienced when you at first thought that people were being whipped. The Haitians were being whipped.
Imagery has an effect.
Imagery has an effect. I do want to also say, just like out of respect to the military men that have PTSD, they actually served in the war. You were not actually a slave. I find that to be a bit offensive.
Wait.
The last thing I want to say.
No.
The last thing I want to say.
You absolutely,
it's ridiculous to say that you have PTSD means a trauma that you suffered, that you experienced.
I will not allow that to ride.
You weren't a slave. You don't have PTSD from slavery.
And racist system.
Where were you whipped? Where were you whipped at a horse whip?
Under the 13th Amendment of the United States.
With the law.
You know, trying to undermine someone's experience is something that I won't do, because I don't know where this man is from. I don't know the life that he lived. But when he referenced PTSD, I'm assuming he wasn't just talking about himself. He was talking about the ancestors of slaves, because that's how he prefaced it. Saying PTSD, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but that's how he prefaced it from what I remember. And what Candace Owens is saying is there are people who actually served in the military. You do not have PTSD the way that they would have PTSD if they say they have it. And now he's a little upset, or he's upset. But my thing is, she's right in that sense. Being an ancestor of a slave, or, you know, have ancestry linked back to slavery, will not give you the same PTSD just because you're linked to it as someone who served in the military. And I hope that's not the reason he said he has PTSD. And I don't want anyone to have PTSD, let me say that. But I hope that that is not why he's saying it, because his ancestors were slaves. If that is the reason, then you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong if you're saying that. You're dead wrong. But I don't know him.
And no education.
When you bash people like Naomi Osaka, who has mental issues, you bash people with mental illness. That's what you do.
And you just
you're trying to spin the story here.
You bash people who have mental illness, so of course you would dismiss
yes, you know what? I think it is a mental illness if you think that you're suffering from PTSD from slavery, you've never been a slave. I'm not bashing you, I'm just calling it out. That PTSD.
Okay, so he was saying that. No, that's insane. That's actually insane. If you have PTSD from being a slave, but you were never a slave, that's like having PTSD from fighting in the army, but you never was in the army. That doesn't even make sense. That literally doesn't make sense. How could you possibly have it? What? Jesus, I can't. Sometimes I feel like this isn't real life, and that the stuff I watch is like made up, like a cartoon or a joke. Like they scripted this, because there's no way he just said that.
Do not correlate it to the military men who are suffering from something they actually experienced.
And you have a platform where you can tell people the truth, but you make a lot of money spewing these lies.
But you got 3 black people up here that are in this.
Tons of money.
It's such a racist country.
I live in the South Bronx,
and we got 3 black people who are very successful.
Congressional district in America. I live in the poorest congressional district
what you're seeing right now is something called the Oppression Olympics. So he's trying to win the Oppression Olympics. Like, I'm poor. Well, when I was a kid, I wasn't fed a sandwich.
I'm just saying, I'm not the feminine Republican version of Al Sharpton.
By Hawk Newsom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time.
So now he's trying to insult her. He's saying he's from the poorest district in the South Bronx. I don't know where he's going with this. I really don't. I don't understand how this even is relevant to him saying you can have PTSD from slavery you've never experienced. I've never heard that one before. That was something I've never heard before, and I. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That's funny. What? Okay. I'm gonna just end this here. I don't even know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm gonna catch y'all later.